Welcome students, I am Nafiza, your social science teacher. In today's video, we will discuss the definition of soil erosion, the reasons for soil erosion and the measures for soil conservation. Before we start the video, let's discuss the points we have covered in the previous chapter. In the previous video, we have covered the topic of classification of first it was about resources, followed by land resources, and then we have started with soil as resource. In soil as resource, first we discussed the types of formation of soil and the classification of soil, like forest soil, forest or mountain soil, alluvial soil, red and yellow soil, black soil, laterite and arid soil in detail with the help of India map and the textbook matter given. So now today's video, let's discuss about soil erosion in detail. As we can see here, soil erosion you have studied in your lower classes also many times. Even let us briefly see the definition of soil erosion. The denudation of soil cover and subsequent washing down is described as soil erosion. Denudation, the putting down of the soil, and then subsequent washing away of the soil is referred to as soil erosion, leading to bad land where we cannot go for cultivation. And this soil erosion can be of two types. It can be of human factors and natural factors. When it comes to human factors, the main reason for human factors means the soil erosion due to human involvement. The activities like deforestation, overgrazing, construction, mining. This all comes under human factors. Soil erosion due to human being. When it comes to natural forces like wind, glacier and water. These three are the ways by which soil erosion can happen. Wind in the way, suppose a heavy wind comes. You might have seen, especially in desert areas, if you look, wind it flows the soil along with it. It takes the soil along with it. Even sometimes we find a strong gusty wind moving. Along with that, all the dust particles, leaves will flow away, which leads to soil erosion. Glacier, when big glacier, it starts melting, then it flows down with force, and when it flows down with force, it carries the top layer of the soil also. And water, many a times you might have observed during the rainfall, what happens whenever rainfall comes, along with the water you can feel lot of soil particles also moving with the water. So wind, glacier and water, these three are the natural factors. Deforestation, overgrazing, construction and mining, these are the human factors which lead to soil erosion. If only natural factors are kept into account, it's a normal process. The process of soil formation and erosion, it's a natural process. It sometimes due to floods time, recent floods, you might have seen the washing away of all the land particles, soil particles, even big trees also flown with the water, is a natural process. After some years, again the soil fertility will increase if the time is given. But due to human involvement, what's happening? This process of soil formation and erosion, there is the balance between the two. There was a wide gap. It continuously leading to soil erosion and not giving time for the soil to form itself, for the formation of the soil. Clear? So the running, especially this region, students have a look, especially this region, it can be given for 1 mark questions. Clear? So that way the soil erosion happens, it's different and has different names. Like the running water, whenever the running water cuts through the clayey soil, it makes a deep channel known as gullies. Can you remember our school assembly? Whenever rainfall comes, we can find such a situation even in the assembly ground. It is to a lower level. So sometimes what happens, it leads to heavy, big, cutting the land. The water which flows through cuts the land, leading to soil erosion and making the soil infertile. So whenever the running water cuts through the clayey soil, we call it as gully. What is meant by gully? The running water cuts through the clayey soil and it makes deep channels, as you can see in the textbook also. Deep channels leading to gully erosion. We call it as gully erosion or gullies. And such a land is also known as bad land, okay? Because it is unfit for cultivation. Cultivation won't happen here. So such a land is called bad land. At the same time, we have one more questions like Chambal Basin. Especially in the Chambal Basin, which is in Madhya Pradesh, this land is known as ravines. What is it known as? Ravines in Chambal region, which is in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, as this red mark, can you see? This is in Madhya Pradesh. This region is known as Chambal region, and these are the Chambal ravines, which you can see like somewhat like small hill mounds, sand mounds like. Okay, where the cultivation is not possible. It's a bad land. Okay, sometimes water flows over the vast area of land like a sheet, and it leads to washing away of the soil as a sheet, which is called as sheet erosion. Sheet erosion. Like water flows as a sheet over a large areas down the slope, leading to sheet erosion. Sometimes wind blows loose soil and it leads to, we call it as wind erosion. Okay, at the same time, soil erosion can also be caused due to defective methods of farming, like ploughing in a wrong way, that is doing it up and down stuff. Different way of ploughing leads to soil erosion. If you look at this overall paragraph, first we have started with the definition of soil erosion. Okay, each and every line in this paragraph is very important. We have started with definition of soil erosion. Means the denudation of soil cover and subsequent washing down is described as soil erosion. Then we have discussed the factors for soil. Factors are the reasons for soil erosion. It can be human factors like deforestation, overgrazing, construction and mining, or natural factors like wind, glacier and water. And then we have discussed different types of soil erosion like gullies. Okay, whenever the running water cuts through the clayey soil, leading to bad land. Okay, it leads to bad land because we cannot cultivate here. Such a one is known as gullies. It is also known as bad land. Especially in the Chambal region, which is in Madhya Pradesh, it is known as ravines. At the same time, we have discussed about sheet erosion. When the top layer, overall top layer washes away with the soil, we call it as sheet erosion. If the soil erosion is due to wind, we call it as wind erosion. Along with that, sometimes due to defective methods of farming also soil erosion happens. Clear? So this paragraph overall we have discussed, covered definition of soil erosion, factors leading to soil erosion and different types of soil erosion. Whereas in this paragraph, totally we will discuss the measures to overcome this soil erosion. Now let's discuss the soil conservation methods. First one is counter ploughing. It to reduce the flow of water and prevent soil erosion. And second one is known as terrace cultivation. In hilly areas, terrace areas, they'll cut the hills like steps, as you can see in the picture, and it is known as terrace farming. Sometimes we call it as strip farming. What is the third step? It is known as strip farming. It helps to reduce the force of the winds. As you can see in the picture, different layers, like one way of crop, another strip of another crop is grown. Then fourth step is shelter belts. What is the fourth step? Shelter belts. As you can see in the picture, big trees are grown near the borders as shelter belts, which avoids the wind erosion and water erosion by the water also. Clear? So these 4 steps are given in your textbook. Suppose this question is given for 5 marks, you can add some more points like afforestation. Like afforestation should be practiced on a large scale and deforestation should be stopped. Let's discuss with the help of the textbook. As we have seen just now in the pictures there, first one, ploughing the counter lines. We call it as counter ploughing. First step of soil conservation is counter ploughing. Counter ploughing. Then second method is steps can be cut out and where cultivation can be done. It is known as terrace cultivation. Second method is terrace cultivation, especially in Himalayan regions. This terrace cultivation goes on. The third one is strip cultivation. This third one, strip cultivation, because where strips of grass are left to grow between the crops. This breaks down the force of the wind. Okay, this method is known as strip cropping. And then the fourth method is known as shelter belts, where big plants or huge rows of trees can be grown. Planting lines of trees to create shelter also works in a similar way. Okay, these shelter belts have contributed significantly to the stabilization of sand dunes, especially in desert areas where big sand dunes are the sand hills we call, which flow overall. Suppose if a strong wind blows, overall sand dune itself will change its location. So such a disaster can be stopped if shelter belts are grown, and in stabilizing the desert in western India. At the end of the lesson, a case study is given where people involvement, local people's involvement has changed the scenery of a village. So the village name is Sukhomajri, and it's in the district of Jabua, and it's in Madhya Pradesh, where people have avoided this land degradation with measures. Earlier, very few, with the help of afforestation, very few trees. Like in the year 1976, there were trees only for 13% per hectare. Whereas by 1992, they have made it possible with the help of 1,272 per hectare. It not just only led to environmental solution, greenery all over the place, it has solved their problem also. It not just like it regeneration of environment, true, and it leads to economic well-being. Their economy also increased because of them. Greater resource availability, improved agriculture and animal care, and consequently it increased their income levels also. So which proves that people's management is essential for the ecological restoration. Though government might be there, they might be making plans, but here people should involve for betterment of their own lives, for the development of the society also. Especially Madhya Pradesh region and in India, if we say particularly here, in India, Madhya Pradesh is the state where we can find lot of forest cover. And even you can find a cartoon at the end of the chapter. So what is your view about this cartoon? What do you understand by this cartoon? We will discuss in the Zoom session. With this, we have completed our chapter, students. We will clarify our textbook exercise and doubts in the Zoom session. Take care. Bye.